Have you ever seen a place that just feels, well, impossible? You know, like it was pulled straight out of a fantasy novel? Well, today we're going to explore one of those spots, the absolutely jaw-dropping rock formations and ancient monasteries of Meteora, Greece. Let's figure out what makes this place so unforgettable.
You know, this quote just nails the feeling of seeing Meteora for the first time. It actually comes from a local guide. He was talking about driving visitors up to a viewpoint, and he said that the second the rocks came into view, the car would go completely silent. And then, like clockwork, someone would just breathe out a wow. It's that kind of involuntary, completely natural reaction to seeing something that your brain can't quite process.
And really, that's the whole deal here. This isn't just another pretty spot to take a few pictures. Every account emphasizes that a visit to Meteora is one of those real, core travel memories. You know, the kind of experience that just sticks with you long after you get back home.
Okay, so let's get right into our first section, a wow introduction. We're going to break down what exactly creates that jaw-dropping moment. It's really a combination of two things, the insane geology and the mind-boggling architecture. So what's the source of all that awe?
It all boils down to two incredible things happening at the exact same time. First, you've got this geological freak of nature, these massive, smooth pillars of sandstone just shooting hundreds of meters into the sky. But then, and this is the crazy part, you have these centuries-old monasteries perched, impossibly, right on the very top. It creates this wild illusion that they're just floating, totally suspended between earth and sky.
So let's zoom in on those unbelievable buildings. In our second section here, Monasteries in the Sky, we'll take a look at the 6 active monasteries you can actually still go and visit today. And trust me, each one has its own unique story and vibe.
What's so cool about Meteora is that you can kind of choose your own adventure. On one hand, you have Agios Stephanos. This one's the most accessible. You literally just walk across a small bridge to get in. Easy. But then you have the total opposite, Agia Triada, the Holy Trinity Monastery. Getting to this one is a serious commitment. We're talking a climb of nearly 250 steps that are carved right into the sheer rock face.
Speaking of that super dramatic location at Agia Triada, it wasn't just monks who were impressed. It also caught the eye of Hollywood. Any ideas which James Bond movie it showed up in?
Yep, if you guessed For Your Eyes Only, you got it. The monastery was the dramatic setting for the climax of that 1981 film. So as you're huffing and puffing your way up that climb, you can just pretend you're Roger Moore as James Bond. Though, let's be real, he probably had a bit more help getting up there.
And the other monasteries are just as wild. The Great Meteoron is the biggest, and inside they have this really sobering room with the skulls of monks who used to live there. Then at Varlam, you can see the actual 650-year-old winch they used to haul people and supplies up the cliff. Rusanu is a peaceful convent run by nuns, and it has these killer views from the middle of the valley. And Agios Nikolaos, well, that one's an architectural marvel, basically built straight up a super narrow pillar of rock.
Now, those 6 main monasteries are obviously incredible, but the magic of Meteora doesn't stop with them. In this next section, Secrets of the Rocks, we'll see that if you really know where to look, the landscape itself is hiding some pretty cool secrets.
It is amazing to think that the monasteries we see today, they're just the survivors. There used to be more than 20 of them in this area. So as you're exploring, you can actually spot the ruins of these forgotten hermitages, just clinging to cliffs and tucked into caves. It's like this ghostly reminder of the much larger spiritual community that used to be here.
And beyond the ruins, this is where you get to use your imagination a bit. The local guides just love to point out these incredible shapes hidden in the rock formations. It's kind of like a natural sculpture park. So while you're there, keep your eyes peeled for things like a giant sphinx or an ape's head. It adds this really fun, almost mystical layer to the whole experience.
Okay, so after a day of exploring and climbing all those steps, you are definitely going to have worked up an appetite. And that brings us to our next section, the taste of Meteora. And luckily, the local food here is every bit as memorable as the views.
You absolutely do not want to miss out on the local food here. These are some of the must-try dishes people recommend. You've got stamna, which is this rich meat and vegetable stew. Then there are steaks and sausages made from a special local black pig. And, the lamb. It's slow-cooked in parchment paper until it's unbelievably tender. We're talking authentic, hearty Greek food at its absolute best. All right, so if you're already picturing yourself there, this last section is for you. Planning your visit. We're just going to cover the essential, practical tips you need to know before you go, just to make your trip as smooth as possible. First things first, money.
Right now, the entrance fee is €5 per person per monastery. And here's the super important part that goes with it. You have to bring cash. The monasteries don't usually take credit cards at the door, so make sure you've got enough euros on you for all the ones you want to see.
Next up, and this is a big one, is the dress code. You've got to remember, these are active places of worship, so you need to be respectful with what you wear. For everybody, that means shoulders have to be covered, so no tank tops or sleeveless shirts. For men, you need long pants or shorts that go past your knees. And for women, you're required to wear a long skirt. But hey, don't stress if you forget. They almost always have wraparound skirts you can borrow right at the entrance.
And one last, really crucial tip, plan your days carefully, because not all the monasteries are open every single day. For instance, the Great Meteoron is closed on Tuesdays, and both Varlam and Agios Nikolaos are closed on Fridays. Schedules can always change, so it's a good idea to double-check when you're there. But this gives you a great starting point for building your itinerary.
So there you have it, a trip through the incredible, awe-inspiring world of Meteora. It's one of those places where a spectacular natural wonder and just unbelievable human faith came together to create something that honestly feels like it shouldn't exist. It really leaves you with one final thought. With all that history carved into these rocks, what other secrets are still up there, just waiting to be discovered, suspended in the sky?